To the north, the mines of Moria also grow ever more deadly. Here, in times past, Gandalf cast down the Balrog after days of combat. That terrible battle cost him his very life, but permitted the Ring-Bearer to escape those dark and dreadful halls.
The Lord of the Rings Conquest isn't really anything that we haven't seen before. Pandemic Studios from day one have just been criticised that it is just Star Wars Battlefront, but with the Lord of the Rings twist on it instead of the Star Wars. This is true in some sense, but there's a little bit more to it.
Spirits!
The single player is split up into two parts. There's the good campaign called The War of the Ring, and then there's the evil campaign called The Rise of Sauron. Now, the evil campaign is so much better, because the good campaign will just take you through some of the most memorable battles like Helm's Deep, Pelennor Fields, Minas Tirith, the Black Gate, places like that. But the evil campaign is a lot more interesting, as instead of Frodo destroying the ring at the end of the Return of the King, the Nazgul come in and kill Frodo and take the ring back to Sauron. And this starts a chain of events where Sauron gets the power back to corrupt Middle-earth, and his first little task is to resurrect his fallen allies. So that's basically where the campaign leads to. And instead of just doing the good campaign but from the evil perspective, they've actually done a totally different campaign. So you'll go to different battles like Weathertop, Rivendell, and then you'll all be leading up to the Shire, where, let's face it, you kill loads of hobbits, and it's a lot of fun. Single player is fun, but it's not without its frustrating moments, and it will carry a lot of them. For example, you'll get a number of lives at the start of the mission. And every single time you do an objective, you'll get some more lives. But sometimes it doesn't give you enough lives. So you'll get near to the end of the mission, and then this one little archer will be just sitting there, and he will kill you, and you have to do the entire mission again. And it's just those little things which take away the fun element of the single player. So, similar to Battlefront, there's classes in the game. There's the Archer class, Mage, Scout, and Soldier. They all have their own little abilities. Your Soldier is your basic person, while, your Mage can cast all those spells. And then you also have the Hero classes, and these are the most fun. You'll get to take control of Gandalf, Legolas, the Witch King, Sauron even. And these classes are given to you at certain points in the single player, normally nearer the end of the level. There's also these other aspects of the game, like you could say it's a vehicle side. You can take control of trolls, ents, you can ride on wargs and horses, you can fire catapults, and even control a gigantic mummikill. All these feel like a vehicle element to the game, and overall it's just a good little addition to the game, adding these extra classes, so you do have some variation when you're actually playing the game.
What kind of fuzzer are you? Destroy Gondor's enticements, you idiot!
The main selling focus for Conquest is its multiplayer. You can have up to 16 people playing it, and even though that might not sound epic, if there's more people, it'll probably get more frustrating because you'll probably die more often. There's 4 game modes. There's Conquest, Hero vs Hero Team Deathmatch, Capture the Ring, and Team Deathmatch. It's basically a good spread of game modes, and you don't really expect anything else from them. You can go all the classes from the single player, and also at the halfway point of a multiplayer match, one person will get granted the ability to become the hero, and that hero will be suited to that specific map. For example, Rivendell, you'll probably get Elrond. Overall, the multiplayer is good, but there are a couple things which do bring the game down. So on to the negatives of the game. The music in the game is good. It's got the original score from the films, however the voice acting is not good. The guards' voices just sound pathetic. Even the hero voices are just done terribly. The only one that they got to come back was Elrond, and he also narrates the single player. but all the other characters just seem to have no emotion, and it just does not fit the world of Lord of the Rings. The graphics are also a major disappointment. Sometimes at the start of a mission they look like last gen graphics, but they do get the look of Lord of the Rings across. Minas Tirith looks like Minas Tirith, Pelennor Fields looks like Pelennor Fields, and the character models look pretty good. But overall, they could have done a lot better on the graphical front and on the voice acting front. Also, the gameplay has been described as sluggish and slow. However, looking at it, you wonder how they could have done it differently. If they tried to do some precise movement for swordplay, like in Assassin's Creed, it just would not have worked in multiplayer. The Archer class and the Mage class are probably the best for gameplay, seeing that it doesn't require constant hammering of one button to kill enemies, and the Stealth class, it does actually get quite frustrating when you try and pull off an assassination and you just uncloak yourself and then get killed because the button did not register in hitting it.
The armies of the West have been forced to make their final stand upon the ruins of Weathertop. Here, in ages past, the Witch King led his great host in terrible victory. And here the northern armies of men were crushed.
So Conquest isn't really a bad game, it just has some very serious negative points to it. But if you look at it as a whole, and if you are a Lord of the Rings fan, you will probably enjoy it. Just even climbing up a mummikill like Legolas does in the film, and shooting it in the head just to slide down its trunk, it's those moments in the game which just keep you coming back for more. The multiplayer of 13 maps will last you quite a while, and the single player having a 2-player cooperative mode will also add a little bit of replay value. Like I said, if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, this is probably one of the better Lord of the Rings games out there. Although some of the negatives do draw it back, you could probably get over it if you just spend some time with it.
A small, brave army stands at last within the jaws of Sauron's trap. But the courage of men will not fail, and their hope will not fade. For they hold that their sacrifice at the Black Gate of Mordor shall gain time for Frodo to at last destroy the One Ring. And in this final hour, the captains of the West must continue to fight for their freedom, while their breath still remains.